elements to base their assumptions on. And even when they do, you cannot assume homogeneity. And, of course, they certainly don't have structure blocks. So all of you who keep suggesting that, please stop. That's not the point of this series. Furthermore, even if I were to use other cities for reference, their generation is different in every instance, which means that the interpretation of this city here is only for this city. And I'm going to repeat that. The interpretation of this city is only for this city here. You cannot take my interpretation of this particular ancient city and apply it to every other ancient city in every other world. So, don't come into my comments section with, well, the ancient city in my world has X, Y, and Z, so you're wrong, because that's just stupid. We wouldn't assume that downtown New York City is the same as downtown Cottonwood Falls, Kansas, population 850, would we? Weird shout out to Cottonwood Falls, Kansas, I guess. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so here we are at Red A1. Now, I want you to notice something about this place. We have 2 stories. Well, technically 3 if you count this bottom one as a story as well. This is more like this is more like the first story, that's second story, and this is like a half story almost in between. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I just want to point out the fact that this is a fairly large building with multiple stories. That's going to come into play later on, so keep that in mind. Okay. You'll also notice that we've got this sort of altar-looking thing here.
Oh shit, I completely forgot.
Side, a left and a right, and when you come up to this
place is fucking
here,
hot.
You have
whoops, that was the wrong shortcut.
Left and right fires. Now, what does that say? That says a lot of things. We could assume that because this altar looks a lot like the altar on the first floor, or the half floor, I guess, and it's got a left and right, that they sort of correspond with each other. So maybe that left chest corresponds with this left fire. Maybe this right fire corresponds to that right chest. The reason why I bring it up in that way is because when you look at these chests, you have a lot of things in them. Matter of fact, this is probably the most full chests in the entire city, right? Both red buildings have incredibly full chests. And what do you see? You see bones, you see coal, you see amethyst shards, bottles of enchanting, echo shards, glowberries, record. Other side is a, fairly happy sounding thing. On this one, it's a lot of the same stuff. Bones, coal, candles.
What the fuck?
You have a lead and diamond.
The big ones shoot.
Interesting. Let's talk a little bit about monumental architecture. Now, monumental architecture are very large structures built for public or ceremonial use. Now, these structures are usually significantly larger than residential units in the surrounding areas. And this is important because residential units can usually be built by a small group or even a couple of people, whereas monumental architecture usually requires the coordinated work of many people and oftentimes the use of specialists as well. Now, this coordination would have required an administrative system capable of organizing a large workforce. This is important because it suggests that there is some sort of political hierarchy within this society that utilizes some form of administration. That will definitely come up again later. And why would you build this very large structure? Well, I think the key lies in these altars, these altar-looking things. You've got candles, which you can get from the box. See, there's a candle. There's a candle, many candles, and you can put them in here. You've also got this, which, come on, this is a depiction of the warden's head. That's exactly what the warden's head looks like. And as we move around this city, you'll see a lot of depictions of the warden. Specifically warden body parts, or the body itself.
So using scaffolding is really stupid.
We've got something that looks like an altar, we've got something that looks like chests, and we've got something up here that looks like an altar, and instead of chests we have fire. Now if I were to take one of these items and throw it on that fire, it would probably get burned up. I don't know, I haven't tried because that'd be messed up. Now, keep in mind, I also am in a creative world. It just makes moving around in this world a little bit better when I don't have to worry about the big giant walls and everything. And also, if I mess anything up in this world, it's not messed up in the regular world. So if I accidentally click something, it's not messing up our actual, ancient city. Anyways, something else I want to bring up about the chests as well. A lot of these things, you have to place them in this way. If I were to have bones in my inventory and shift click them, they're going to go up into the first slot that there are bones, which means that these were placed in individually, possibly by different people. Because if you are placing stuff in, why would you spread it out like this? And it's not like, oh, you can only put 2 bones in at a time. There's different numbers. 12 bones, 2 bones, 6 bones, 2 bones, 7 coal, 4 coal. So I'm going to assume that the placement of these objects are not by the same person, or at least not at the same instance. So it could be different people, it could be different times. So that's pretty interesting. What does this all mean? Well, let's look at this one. I think it's pretty telling, to be honest with you. What do you use coal for? Well, you use coal for burning. What do you use bones for? Well, you can use bones for bone meal, but also, in the real world, what's left over from animals are usually the bones. So I guess you could burn the bones, too. Bottle of enchanting?
Why would you burn the bones?
If you're enchanting or you want XP. The bottle of regeneration, that's useful. I mean, if you get hurt...
What kind of ceremonial tomfoolery is that?
And other side. I guess this one's cat. The other one's other side. Cat is a weird one, because cat's kind of weird music disc. But it doesn't matter. What I'm getting to is this. I think the main giveaway here, armor and the lead, both of those things suggest horse. You've got bones. Bones, to me, suggest the leftovers of a dead animal. Maybe the horse. Who knows? Coal could be used for fires, and candles could also be used to put on altars and up there and all around. I think these chests are either the leftovers of offerings or offerings to be made. Now, this one, the bones could be the leftovers of offerings from animals, along with coal, and of course candles you can place. With this one, you'll notice it's got amethyst shards and emerald shards, which are not in the other one, along with glowberries. I think these are also offerings, but instead of being burned, they're put in the chest. So I think this is more of a ceremonial structure. Now, before anyone jumps into the comment section, I am actually using ceremonial and ritual, those two terms, to mean sort of an act of reverence, okay? I'm not using ritual and ceremonial to mean that I just don't know, which is what a lot of archaeologists do. I mean acts of reverence, okay? So this isn't brushing your teeth every day. This isn't taking a shower every day. Those are rituals, all right, as well. I mean acts of reverence for someone or something, okay? It's interesting that we have a depiction of the warden's head right here.
Look at this.
In the middle of this structure. This very official structure, by the way. So I think chests are offerings and or remains of offerings. So you can grab a candle and place it if you want. You can put your bones in here. When you're done with burning whatever animal, you can put amethyst shards and echo shards, which you have to go and collect. Same thing with glowberries. These are all offerings and sacrifices. I think this structure is ceremonial in nature. By ceremonial, I mean some sort of act of reverence. And because it's so big, and because it would take a lot of people to build it, or at least a lot of organized labor, I think this is an official ceremonial structure. We will get into unofficial later, but I definitely think that this is official ceremonial structures. Okay, let's go look at the other ring, which is over in C7. Here we are at the other ring structure. All right, same thing. Warden head in the middle, left and right fires, and Oh man, we have different things now. You've got glowberries, another lead, disc fragments, skull sensors, and the like. Now, if you're worried about these items being different from the
I
original
forgot to bring
electricity that
gold.
I copied this over to the creative world from, it's
Could have
not.
done
I originally
bartering.
used the same items. You also have a used Dynamo, Echo Shards, and Soul Torches. Now, what does this mean? These are definitely different than last time, and it's not so full. I mean, it's more full than some of the other chests in the city, but this one's pretty sparse. So, this could mean a couple different things. One, this structure may not be used as heavily as the other one, or it could be a newer structure. That's another one. Well, maybe they just haven't acquired the amount of stuff. It could also be that these things get periodically cleared out. Periodically cleared out? Yeah. Periodically cleared out. Right? And so this might be some leftovers or some new stuff in here. It could be any number of things. I think the structure generally is going to be the same. An official ceremonial structure. However, I think because we don't have any bones or anything like that, perhaps the sacrifices or offerings are a little different, right? We've got glowberries, we have skull sensors of all things, but we also have the hoe, which of course you can use to harvest skull. Echo shards, soul torches. This might be slightly different, or this might show that things are slightly different when it comes to the ceremonial
Whoa, blaze
aspect of
cats.
this building. So red A1 and red C7, they might be different. They also might be looted as well, so there's that too. One thing I want to point out, no, not that one, this one here. The disc frags. We're actually going to run into more disc fragments throughout this entire building, and that's pretty interesting because it's never a whole disc, it's just pieces of the disc, which suggests a couple different things. The main thing is that if you have fragments of the same disk but in different buildings, you can make the assumption that those buildings are in existence at the same time. Whether they were built at the same time or whether they were used at the same time, who knows? But existence at the same time because they all have the same stuff in them, or at least deposited in them. The other thing is that this might be a form of some sort of ritual destruction. And you're wondering, what the heck is ritual destruction? And how does that play into this? Well, have you ever seen somebody christen a brand new boat? You know, like the big carriers and ships and stuff like that? They usually smack you with a wine bottle and break the wine bottle, right? Or how about weddings where they break plates? Or if you're an archaeologist,
I have never heard of something like that.
ceremonial destruction of structures when people leave them, right? There's all kinds of ritual destruction of items to christen new things, to close out old things. There is a precedent for breaking stuff in order to sacrifice it for some sort of inanimate object or some sort of function or something like that. So that's what I think is going on here. I think those disc fragments are broken specifically.
Oh yeah, there's pigweed brutes
I
around.
think they're in other buildings all over the place because all those buildings are at the same time or up at the same time. Whether or not they were christened at the same time, who knows? But they all existed at the same time. Okay, so there we go. Red building is some sort of official ceremonial structure. That's what I'm saying. Let's move on to the light. I'm sorry, not light blue. Regular. Light blue is a different building. Okay, so here we are at the light blue. See, I just did it again. Here we are at the regular blue building. Oh man, I'm gonna leave most of these mistakes in too because. What? Okay, so blue. Let me flip to that page. All right. Yes, I took extensive notes. So interestingly enough, it is a smaller building. You don't need as much organization to build something like this. We'll get into sort of more of the structures and things like that when we actually do the restoration. But I want to point out the chest. This is A2. look at what we got. This is interesting. We've got shards, bones, and coal, soul torches, some skull blocks, and a hoe, and a candle, which does line up with the ceremonial structures, the ceremonial red structures. And if I hop up here, look what's just beyond. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Its proximity to a red structure suggests that this might have some sort of connection. At least that's what I'm thinking, especially when they share so many of the same items. So, what does that mean? Is this another ritual structure or ceremonial structure? And to be honest with you, I don't think so. We don't have an altar. We don't have candles set up. We don't have things set up to suggest any kind of ceremony taking place here. But we do have ceremonial objects or ritual type objects. So what I think is going on here is, well, not. I think it's storage. I think it's some sort of ritual storage or storage of ritual things. And who would store? Oh, banners anyway. Who would store ritual items? Well, priests might. You know, at churches, modern churches, you have priests with their ceremonial garb and stuff like that they own, that they keep, themselves. So maybe that's what's going on here. I think this might be some sort of storage, maybe even a residence, but this is only one. 4 different buildings. So let's go check out the rest. Okay, here we are. We've got empty books, coal, horse armor, and a saddle. So the saddle and the horse armor suggests that someone is riding a horse and needs to armor it, or at least make it look good, right? So when it comes to sacrifice, if you could always make the animal look good, the Greeks used to do that with gilding horns and stuff like that. But the armor also has a functional aspect too. So this is possibly somebody using a horse to get around. Get around an ancient city? That seems odd, right? Pretty odd. But then you've got things like torches and empty books. Now, the books can be used for enchanting, and we will run into enchanted books later, but you can also use the books to make notes and or write things down. So you have somebody who's using a horse, writing things down, and possibly needing coal to make torches or whatever. I don't know about you, but when I explore the overworld, I like to have torches on hand. And when I was going over this ancient city here, I took a lot of notes. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that whoever was using this structure here, this blue A4 structure, was some sort of explorer. Now, does that mean this is some sort of explorer's storage? Some sort of explorer's house? Don't know. It is definitely big enough to live in. When we look at the villagers' houses, they're some bigger and smaller buildings, so it's possible that this was a residence. In that case, this would be an explorer's residence. And the other blue, which is could be a priest's residence. And look at how close to the red structure that one is versus this one. That might also be one of those different items. So this structure, the blue structure that we have here, might be a residence in this place. It might also be storage, but I'm starting to lean towards residence, and I think A2 is priest or some sort of religious residence, and A4 here is some sort of explorer's residence. But these aren't the only ones. Let's go check out C6. Here we are at C6.
Oh, hello there.
These are different places that have different...
This is a blaze spawner.
Different things in this chest. Oh, look at that. No horse armor, no coal, no shards.
Let's actually go.
We do have books, bones, record disc vault into a cat yet again. Then we have Swift Sneak. Oh, 1 and 2. Okay. Now these of course are used to help you get around quicker in the ancient city when sneaking. So that's interesting. But who knows what's going on? Bones are interesting. Bones we do see in that ceremonial structure again. And we do have cat in the ceremonial structure, so that lines up with
Yo, other side.
the A2.
And big step.
But then we also have the books, which also lines up with the A4 building. And then we have SwiftSpeed, which would help out an Explorer as well. So, yeah. What's going on here? Well, the empty books you need for taking notes or recording things. Bones, we know from the red building, might be the remnants of sacrifices. Okay? And the record was also found in structures, those ceremonial structures. And it's possible that this is some sort of archivist or record keeper for maybe the ceremonial structures, maybe other things. I'm leaning towards some sort of record keeper, some sort of archivist. They're archiving the bones,
Thank God it's daytime.
That's a tough one to really sort of go off of with, or to come up with off of that stuff, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. It's definitely some sort of, again, some sort of residence, because these seem like weird items, possibly personal. I mean, the record you could play, but you could also play that record at the ceremonial structure too, which makes me lean a little bit more towards someone who is helping out or someone who is archiving. So I'm going to tentatively
Alright, so,
residence, but
I'll still need to come back for magma creams, but we have a blaze spawner.
And finally, let's check out I3. I3. Alright, so if this is a residence,
I got a withered brain.
Job. Let's see what this is. This has books, echo shards, bottle of enchanting, disc fragments, skull caverns. Oh, and armor. Pretty decent armor, too. Well, so this has things that are different than the other ones. Namely, skull catalyst, echo shards, armor, obviously, and disc fragments. It still has books, just like the rest, and, oh, it's got another side, so it doesn't have a cap, but it's got a record disc. This might also be an explorer's...
We have a solid source of blaze rods, and therefore also blaze powder.
There's a lot of recording. Maybe some sort of scientist? Maybe some sort
Which I just realized, as long as we have a slime farm as well, we do have a good source of magma cream as well.
Might be an enchanter? Maybe they're getting their books
for
ready
fire resistance.
It's a tough call. Echo shards are interesting. You gotta collect those. Well, I don't know how you get those other than collecting them from these chests. Catalysts are interesting. Makes me think that maybe it is a researcher doing some sort of research. I'm not too sure. The armor suggests explorer, especially with like echo shards. Well, yeah, armor suggests explorer. Bottle of enchanting suggests maybe an enchanter. The books, also the books and the armor suggest explorer. Echo shards, skull catalysts, those suggest possibly some sort of researcher or somebody doing something with skull. This one's a tough one as well. Let's take an aside real quick to discuss the echo shards. Now, at the time of recording the interpretation, as I walked around the city, I forgot about what the echo shards are used for. These crystals are used to manufacture the recovery compass. Now, the recovery compass is an item used to direct the player to the last known location of their death to recover the records. Now, we don't know if the inhabitants of this ancient city knew how to manufacture the recovery compass, but we do find compasses within the city. So it is a possibility. And this would mean a lot of things when it comes to the inhabitants' understanding of death. But if they did know how to manufacture the recovery compass, this begs the question, why don't we find anything? What's the final verdict on the blue buildings? I think the blue buildings are some sort of residence. The chests are storage for those residents. And I think they're specific jobs that are living in these residences. I think A2 is
Hot damn, what the fuck?
Like a priest or ritual residence. So someone who's doing things at A2 or A1, red A1 because of its proximity. A4 seems like an explorer of some sort. C6 might be archivist, it's hard to tell. This one's hard to tell, it might be a little bit of a combination of all of the above. Let's see here. Well, it's near a light blue, which we might cover next, and a pink, and another light blue. Well, maybe what is in light blue will tell us something. So let's do light blue. Welcome to light blue I2, maybe? Okay, yeah, this is I4. Okay, we've got 3 used diamond hose that, I mean, those are great for using on stone, which we do have some stone stuff here. Though none of these have silk touch.
Okay, that's a little too much cobblestone now.
Silk touch, I'm pretty sure you have to have silk touch, but yeah, whatever. Potion of regeneration, okay, that's a good one to have. Coal and bones. Again, lots of bones and coal, which suggests some sort of ritual connotation. And the reason why I say that, well, one, this is sort of altar like the one. But this, look at this. That right there. Scream. I'm going to get into what that might be, but this definitely says...
May as well set it up here where the cave spider spawner is as well.
Chest.
I think it's only fitting.
Thorax part of the ward. Cages and stuff. Now this one's kind of destroyed, but definitely have that same look. It could also be the ward itself, you know, head, body.
A tiny box. Now, blazes aren't the most dangerous creatures, not at our level at least. Even without fire resistance to protect us from their fiery attacks, they don't deal enough damage. They do require containment. Ironically, it'd be pretty funny to watch the blazes suffer in rain.
Which tells me that this may also be another ceremonial structure, maybe not as official. Okay, we've got pillars here. Pillars that sort of frame this rib cage of the warden. So yeah, I'm leaning towards this might be the entrance. Just by the way that it's set up, and this is the back wall. So you're walking through the warden's chest to get into here. Yeah, that screams ceremonial structure, okay? Because you're doing some sort of really overt ritualistic type entrance. So I'm going to, oh, you got little cubbies too. I'm going to say that this is another ceremonial structure. And again, not like, I don't know, so I'm just saying ceremonial. I mean like an active reference type structure. And I think these, again, are some sort of, whatever's left over from sacrifice. Maybe people that died while harvesting smoke with those. Maybe.
Okay.
We do have smoke sensors. Those things.
Yes, but.
So you want to get rid of those if you want to sneak around without alerting the warden. So, yeah, this may be some sort of ceremonial structure again, where this is the remnants of either those who were collecting things for maybe the red building or for this building, like sacrifices and stuff like that that are being made for the warden. Now, there's no fire in here, so maybe there's not a sacrifice happening in here. Maybe this is some sort of mausoleum. Maybe this little table housed someone. That's what's left over from them. Maybe they were out collecting skull. Okay. So this structure here, I think, is another type of ceremonial structure, and I'm willing to bet maybe a mausoleum, maybe some sort of thing for the dead. I mean, you've got these little cubby holes where bodies can be laid. urns can be placed. It's pretty... I mean, I'm leaning towards that, but you know what? Let's go check out I-2, I think? Yeah, I-2.
Sorry.
So,
Also die.
Alright, I-2, same sort of construction. What do we got? Two notch apples. Allegedly, that's what the kids call them. We got empty books. Oh, enchanted books, feather falling, and aqua affinity. Feather falling to help you not die. And aqua affinity to, I guess, also help you be more efficient underwater. 2 diamond horse armor. A 13 disc compass. Oh man, there's a binding. Oh, okay. So here we go. Whoever was wearing this, they died. Curse of binding. Not curse of vanishing. Curse of vanishing means that if they die, it would have gone away with them. Curse of binding, of course, it's not used. So maybe this was made, but nobody ever used it. If this were used, I'd say, oh yeah, somebody who was wearing this died. But 2 diamond horse armor, compass, that's diamond horse armor, armored legs, a compass, enchanted golden apple, and an empty book screams explorer, right? Because you got the horse to move around on. I don't know about this. You got books to record, compass to get you back. Looks like the compass. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to see.
It will be a little annoying for the blaze to burn the environment.
Where does it point? It's not pointing anywhere.
I need to stop making doors.
It's not pointing anywhere. Wait, what?
I have way too many doors.
Okay, we're going to put that back. Yeah, so it's just pointing that way, which is east. So it's pointing east. Okay, whatever. So yeah, you got compass, which is still getting all twitchy.
It works.
And that screams explore. It means that I'm leaning more towards mausoleum, towards some sort of burial chamber. This is really, really big, though. This is like really.
We're even getting the fire element
there,
from
maybe
it.
Somebody down here, maybe 2 people in there, maybe an urn in there. Like, okay, maybe a family burial. But this is, yeah, this is screaming some sort of
It's a little rudimentary. This could be made safer and easier, but
that's 2 of 3. Let's go check out G and see what G says. G9 is where we're going. Alright, G9. Okay, if this is some sort of mausoleum, some sort of crypt, though very fancy crypt, this will also have some sort of job type stuff. Quick charge. Oh. Channeling. Oh my god. So is this a warrior burial? Skulk. Another broken disc fragment. So we're ritualistically breaking things. Okay. Ritual destruction. Lots of coal. Charge, which I think is for your crossbows, and channeling, which is for your charges. Both of those can be used.
oh, they have sky dust in them as well, huh?
13, which I forget what 13 sounds like. I think that one's kind of weird sounding, though.
Right, so as long as it's closed off, it won't spawn anywhere outside its radius. That's good to know.
I'm rating your normal section. Decent. This is a warrior burial. Or, this is what the remnants of a warrior. I would have liked to have seen bones. Maybe the pole is supposed to be cremated remains. So yeah, warrior. Maybe these are like offering spots. Maybe the warrior was here and that's offering spots on top. I don't know. But this, I mean, so if you've seen the warden up close and lived, or just remember what it looked like because you respawn later, I think they're like swirling soul holes in the chest. Which means if you're walking up through
Hey,
here,
unfair.
you are
Can't
entering
do that.
where souls are, right? That makes sense. So, you know what?
How long am I planning on staying here?
I'm gonna have to
Actually,
I'm gonna write this down because I forgot to write this down earlier. I am going to say that the light blue is going to be, crypt or tomb. That's what I think is going on here. I mean, how cool would that be if there were like banners hanging from these places, and when you walk through.
let's wait until we have 20.
Yeah. So that's what I think is going on. I think this is some sort of burial complex or burial structure. That's what I think. No, it's up here. No, stop. Don't get sidetracked. So I'm going to go with burial structure. All right?
Oh, I have 20. Now let's wait for one more spawn before I go. Why not? I need deniable repaired. Much appreciated. Where would a Minotaur be? I'm still very scared of them, even though they basically don't pose a threat to me anymore at this point. It's like Samus throwing down with Ridley for the 19 millionth time in the world, and her still getting a fucking breakdown over it or something. I don't know. That actually only happened in Other M. I have a good use for this room now. Just came up with it. It seems there's a bias towards the rarer items, the rarer ores, which, that's a good thing. That is what I am observing. Raw zinc. I'm supposed to cook these. Ah, therefore create. It makes a lot of sense. There you go. Tolerable. I can also make a hearth by now. I still need basalt. Best place for to get this is in a basalt delta. So far though, we haven't found a single basalt delta yet. Where do I put smithing templates? I know where. Huh? Ah, Beautiful. However, I just realized how stupid that is because I prefer being naked. I'm so used to the extended version that plays in Animation versus Minecraft. I forgot that's how it actually ends. That was actually the end. What moon phase are we on? Almost a full moon. Could be fun going to a swamp at some point. I just realized I should be having dinner. I am quite hungry. The other backpacks are not being the most useful at the moment. I think I'm better off getting rid of some clutter in my inventory. All I really need at the moment is this thing. I might end up needing them though. So let's do this. What else can I potentially carry around with me? I'm getting rid of the spyglass. Oh, fuck it. I was gonna grab something, but I forgot. Last thing I was gonna do before having lunch. Oh, right. I wanted to try making a scope. This thing can have a scope, right? This thing can too. I quite like that one. Oh damn, it's far more accurate when I'm doing that. Hell yeah, 21 per reload, that's quite a lot.